Hola, ¿cómo estás? Yo también te extraño, pero vamos, vamos a ver las cosas positivas que tiene esta situación. Tenemos más tiempo para pensar, porque hay que pensar, es muy bueno pensar. Y yo te invito a pensar en estos días en tu futuro, cómo salvar tu matrimonio incluso antes de conocer a tu esposa. Así se llama la conferencia que yo te propongo que veamos poco a poco y la vayamos comentando. Es una conferencia larga, por eso lo vamos a ir troceando poco a poco como unas costillitas que hay que trocearlas para poderlas gestionar. Pues este video lo vamos a partir en varias partes y cada video que yo te propongo vamos a ir poniendo algunas preguntas, algunos comentarios para disfrutarlo más. En este primer, es una conferencia de un orador que se llama Evert y está en inglés la conferencia, pero la verdad se entiende muy bien, no está tan complicada y vamos a ir comentándola. Yo te voy a poner aquí el primer trozo y al final te voy a poner unas preguntas para que estés con el ojo atento a intentar responder. Te las digo y luego las puedes ver también por escrito. En la conferencia pone Jason un ejemplo arqueológico, o sea, de la historia que se puede ver con, con restos visibles en un museo, por ejemplo. Pone un ejemplo arqueológico de cómo la castidad muchas veces es considerada como algo que hay que reprimir. ¿Qué ejemplo es ese? Número 2. La BBC quiso entrevistar a Jason y a su esposa por alguna razón. ¿Qué razón? La tercera pregunta cita un artículo de The Economist. ¿Qué prueba ese artículo? ¿Qué es lo que trataba de probar? Luego, ¿cuál es el primer consejo que da? Y por último, en este primer consejo que da, cita un libro de la Sagrada Escritura. ¿Qué demuestra al citar ese libro? Esas son las preguntas que te dejo para que veas esta primera parte del video y después la seguiremos comentando.
We know what we're here for. We're made for love. We want love. We don't often get to see it. Sometimes we don't often get to receive it. I got to see it about 2 years ago. My grandma and my grandpa, they'd been married for more than, I think it was 67 years. They had 10 kids. Their names were Joseph and Mary. I mean, it was a beautiful marriage. And what I loved the most is that they would flirt with each other constantly. I grew up watching this. I remember one day my grandma was in the kitchen. My grandpa was feeling, kind of frisky. He looks over and he sees her and he kind of walks over and whap and he hits her on the thigh and he says, "Hi." He said, "My name is Joe." And she looks at him, she's like, "I know." And I'm like, "Oh, they're 100 and they're flirting. I love it." And she passed away about 2 years ago, and I stood right beside him at her casket, and they're closing her coffin for the last time. And he's real weak. He's had all these knee and hip replacements, and he's kind of shaking, and he leans over, and he gave her one kiss on the nose, and he said, "Bye, babe." And I saw it, and I'm like, that's it, man. I mean, that's what I want. I want a love that's stronger than death. Not just a love that lasts, but not just one of quantity of years, but the quality of years. And a lot of people think, well, yeah, but that's our grandparents, Jason. That's just not happening in our generation. Where do you find that? It's still happening. I know a girl out in LA, her fiance proposed to her, and when he proposed to her, he did so, he made a storybook of their love from the day that they met. And the first page says, Jessica, you can hear estrogen in the room. And so he gives her the book, and on the front page of the book, it says, "Jessica, on the day I met you, I wanted to die." And she's like, "Oh, that's morbid." And she turns the page, and then it says, ... "to myself. To love a woman more than I love me, to put your needs before my needs." And this is not some simple, something girls' sentimentality they want. This is something, and I think a guy's heart, well, that's what I want too. I want to find someone so much that I'd be willing not just to live for them, but to die for them. But it's not enough to want to find this kind of love. we need to know how to give it. We need to even be prepared how to receive it. But here's the problem. Relationships today, it's a mess. It's an absolute mess. And a 50% divorce rate. A typical college campus, there's more people hooking up than even holding hands. And in high school, it's not like it was better back then. I spoke at a high school in Texas. They had 87 girls pregnant on campus. Didn't include the junior high, brought the number of pregnancies over 100. There was even a 5th grade girl pregnant there. And one of the girls we met was 7 months pregnant. She just told her parents. They had no idea. She was wearing baggy clothes and avoiding her mom and dad. And her current struggle is she didn't know how to tell her parents the full story, okay? And the full story is that her boyfriend lives in her closet. That's right. Her boyfriend's been living in her closet for well over a year now. She brings him up leftovers after dinner. He hops out the window to hang out with friends. It's been going on for the year. The parents have no idea. And so the moral of the story is when you get back to the dorm tonight, check your roommate's closet. But no, I assume things are going better at Tommy Moore. But this, this almost, this unbelievable, just this breakdown in relationships, busted up marriages, and it's like, dude, where are we going to look? Where are we going to find answers? If you go to like a Barnes & Noble or something, they got 1 billion books on relationships. Where do you even start? And one of the girls is a very prominent author, one woman. Her name is Barbara Dr. DeAngelis, and she's an expert on marriage, but she's not on her first marriage, her second, her third, or her fourth. Apparently the woman's on her 5th marriage. One of the marriages was to Dr. John Gray. He wrote the book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. Yeah, the marriage experts got married, couldn't figure it out, and they got divorced. So where are we supposed to look? Well, I want to look to the writings of an 80-something-year-old celibate, St. John Paul the Great, and what he had to say about human love. And because I think that the virtue that's a lot of times missing in the courtship process is that of chastity. Now, obviously, the word's got tons of baggage. When I studied in Austria, we took a week and we went to the former Czech Republic on a weekend and went to this castle. And after going through the whole castle, at the end of it, they had a gift shop, and you could buy chainmail armor and helmets and swords, and I wish I had bought it because they actually had a medieval chastity belt. And it had a padlock, it had spikes on it, the whole 9 yards. And I really wish I had got it, because what a perfect visual aid for what the world thinks of chastity. It's just this prudish, Victorian, repressive attitude towards our sexuality. The world doesn't get it. When Crystal and I were engaged, we got a phone call from the BBC. They wanted to do a documentary on our engagement because they heard that we were neither living together nor sleeping together. So apparently news traveled to England that there's an American couple not cohabiting. So send the camera crew. So I sent out all the cameras, and they filmed us for hours. They filmed me surfing with my groomsmen and her trying on her wedding dress the first time. They went on a date with us for hours, asking us all these, why are you not sleeping together? And then they went back to England, and then they mailed us the footage of the TV show after it had already aired for all of the United Kingdom to see. Now, the TV show was called Anna in Wonderland, okay? It's about the woman who interviewed us, Anna, who visits different bizarre cultures around the world. And then she reports on their strange behavior back to England. And as the credits were rolling, it actually said, join us next week when Anna visits a colony of vampires. So next week is Edward Cullen and Bella, and it's my wife and I this week. And I did some research on her, somewhat late, and she's done TV shows on female professional wrestlers, psychics, prostitutes, and people who believe they have animals living inside of them. And now, of course, my wife and I. But I think it gives at least a fair snapshot on how bizarre and repressive the world thinks this whole concept of chastity is. And so, well, what is chastity? It's a virtue like courage or honesty that applies to your sexuality. But what chastity does is it not only frees you to love, but it actually frees you to know if you are being loved. Case in point, speaking at a public high school in Texas, this girl comes up, and she's dating this controlling, possessive, abusive older guy. And I said, sweet, you're better than this. Just break up. And she said, I can't break up. Jason, I've given him everything. I gave him my heart. I gave him my virginity. I gave him my reputation, all my dreams. I can't just let go. And I said, okay, I understand. But, okay, just try this. Just tell him no more sex. Watch what happens. She said, okay, I can try that. She took her necklace off and gave it to me. She said, he makes me wear this. He's so possessive. I said, okay, I'll throw it away. And she left. And like 5 minutes later, she comes back. She's skipping and happy. She said, I dumped him. And I said, well, that was quick. She said, well, yeah, I told him no more sex. He slammed his locker shut. He threw a book at me. He said, where's your necklace? She said, I gave it to the chastity god. But you see what happened is like she tested his love. Like, do you love me? Do you want me? or do you only want the pleasure that you're getting at my expense? I was down at Louisiana State University. College girl down there came home crying. And her mom said to her, well, what happened? And she said, well, I went on a date with that guy. And as soon as we got in the car, he started to make these little perverted jokes of what he wanted to do with me. And I told him, no, I practice chastity. And he said, that's okay, there's lots of other stuff we can do, meaning everything but intercourse. And she said, no, I'm not sure you understand. Like, I respect my body, my future husband, and God. And he looked at her and he's like, so you mean I'm not gonna get anything tonight? She said, no, you're not. He said, okay. He turned the car around, drove her home, dumped her off, and he left. And she's never seen him again, and thank God. Because she could have given it to him for 6 months. Always wondered, like, does he love me? Is he in it for the right reasons? She didn't play that game. On day one, she tested his love. Because so often, when you think you're wanted by the other person, what's standing between you, what they really want, is that pleasure. It was like a Pepsi or Coke commercial, and there's this lady, this beautiful woman, and she sees this can of Coke or Pepsi, and she's just lusting after this thing. I mean, which I'm sure happens every day at the pub upstairs. And she's just lusting after this. But caught between her and the can of Coke is this average-looking guy. And he looks over and he notices how she's staring. He's like, oh, hey, she's really into me. And he gets over and he walks up to her and he's like, hi. And she's like, who are you? Like, what do you want? And he didn't. And at that moment, it dawned on him that he was never the object of her desire. Now, C.S. Lewis points this out well, and he has this quote where he says, we use a most unfortunate idiom when we say of a lustful man prowling the streets that he, quote, wants a woman. Strictly speaking, a woman is just what he does not want. He wants a pleasure for which a woman happens to be the necessary piece of apparatus. How much he cares about the woman, as such, may be gauged by his attitude to her 5 minutes after fruition, for one does not keep the carton after one has smoked the cigarettes. Now, eros means that a man really wants not just a woman, but one particular woman. And so this is one of the beauties of the virtue of chastity, is it allows us to experience authentic sexual attraction to the entire person, not just to the values of the body or of pleasure. And this isn't something the church is just imposing on us. I mean, I saw this magazine at the newsstand at the airport. It's The Economist. It's an international bi-weekly business journal. And it says on the front, the science of sexual abstinence. So I said, okay, I'll get a copy, see what they have to say. And the article says this: chastity before marriage may have its uses after all. Who knew? And it says, so what they did here is they studied more than 2,000 married couples, basically interviewed them. Look, like, when did you guys start having sex in a relationship, and how are things going? And what they found across the board is that the longer a relationship waited before having sex, in particular those who waited until marriage, had, across the board, better communication, better sex, better satisfaction in the relationship, and a more stable relationship. And what's more authoritative, though, than The Economist is obviously the Word of God, which we're going to look to. But how do you do this? Like, I want love, but specifically, I think a lot of you were raised in Catholic homes, Catholic grade school, Catholic high school, homeschooled, life teen. And a lot of times you get out of high school, you get to college, and in high school you learn everything pretty much you're not supposed to do. And you graduate and you're like, okay, I got this. Okay, no premarital sex, no contraception, no cohabitation, no porn, no cloning, no IVF. Like, great, no. Okay, and then you get to college, like, great, I know everything I'm not supposed to do. And it's like, okay, well, what am I supposed to do? Oh, well, sorry, we don't cover that. Have fun in college. And like, you show up, it's like navigating through relationships, I think, can be pretty confusing. And so instead of tonight harping on like everything not to do, I want to look at what are we supposed to do? What are the thou shalts to have a healthy relationships? I think in the end, that's what we want more than a list of prohibitions. So I've came up with just basically a list of 5 to have this, lasting love. And the first one, first and foremost, is just enjoy the season of singleness. I think so often, especially when you're at a campus like Franciscan, which has so many amazing men, so many amazing women, you immediately put on that like future spouse radar, and you're like, oh, she's at the port, she'll be canonized, and so, it's inevitable. And I'm not going to bash that because there's something that we're longing for here. But I think what we've got to do is just take a step back. There, in the Song of Songs in the Bible, just beautiful erotic love poetry. And some of the stuff is just beautiful. You've ravished my heart, my sister, my bride. Now some of it you couldn't really say to a girl. Like your hair is like a flock of goats. It's like your teeth are like sheep. Compare her mouth to livestock. But just look at the wisdom You have ravished my heart, my sister, my bride. You look at the order of the words. First my sister, then my bride. I think in our culture, we're pushed in relationships so fast from the youngest ages. Like, you don't have a boyfriend? You don't have a girlfriend? Like, you've never kissed anyone before? What's wrong with you? Like, it's third grade. What are you waiting for? And it's like this, and you know I wish I was exaggerating, but you know it's that bad out there. And so we're so often rushed into this, and we don't even know sometimes how to just start the relationship. I was speaking at the students at Catholic University, and I was talking about 400 college students, and I said, okay, I want you to just tell me, when was the last movie you saw that portrayed masculine friendship? You know that a man can be a friend to a woman without implying something immediately sexual. When was the last time you saw a movie that portrayed masculine friendship? Not a single college student could think of one. One guy put his hand up, he's like, I know. I said, what's that? He said, Finding Nemo. And I said, okay, like, you got me, okay. Like they're fish, it's a cartoon, it doesn't count, but what a commentary on how the society simply fails to show us masculine friendship, how to even begin the relationship. We get in these things so fast. And I think a lot of girls today get burned because they jump into the relationship. I mean, they meet the guy, he's cute, they start hanging out and texting and hooking up and making out. Then she starts getting like all emotionally attached to him, and she starts like stalking him on Facebook without him knowing. And she's like, dude, she's picking out her wedding dress on Pinterest, and she's only known the guy for like 2 weeks. Then 3 weeks into this thing, like, man, like it hits her, and she's like, oh man, you know, I didn't know he drinks. I didn't know he looks at porn. I didn't know he flirts with other girls. I didn't know he builds a methamphetamine lab in the dorm with his friends on Wednesdays. Like, I didn't know that. And it's like, you know, I mean, thus the point to take your time. But we jump in so fast, and then I got girls telling me, like, Jason, I can't break up with my boyfriend. I can't. I mean, because he told me if I ever broke up with him, he would die without me. I'm like, honey, if he would die without you, he doesn't need a girlfriend, he needs a therapist, okay? But we're prone to like get into these things so fast. But the beauty, I think, of kind of holding back a little bit, especially, you know, incoming freshmen, you just got here, you know, it's so exciting. The temptation is to cling on to love so quickly. But I think if you want a kite to go up, you don't run with it, you hold back a little bit. And that tension allows it to rise. And I think the same thing in human relationships. Take a step back. Now look at the benefits you get from doing this. A girl stepping back can say, okay, who is this guy? Who's so cute, who's so charming and fun and intelligent, but who is he? How does he treat his mom? How does he treat girls he's not attracted to? What do his ex-girlfriends think about him? Who are the men he chooses to surround himself with? You step back and get answers to these things. Ask yourself, okay, does he share my morality or does he tolerate my morality? Meanwhile, the guy can step back and think, okay, who is this girl? Why am I so attracted to her? Is it because she's just so cute? Or does she have virtue? Would I want a woman like this raising my children one day? And the period of this season of friendship lets you take a more sober assessment of the qualities of this person, to step back a little bit. Because if we don't, a lot of times we get into like missionary dating. You know, dating someone, hoping we could fix them and change them and convert them. And I think girls, unfortunately, are specifically guilty of this because you can see the potential in a guy. And everybody else like, well, can't you see he's got problems? Like, I know he has problems, but he smells good. I can't break up with him. But we gotta understand, like, when going into the relationship, I mean, you only got one of two options. You're either gonna break up with this man or you're gonna marry him. That's it. There are no other options. Breakup or marriage is how every relationship ends. And that's why we should not date somebody unless we can see ourselves truly marrying this person. And if we don't know if they're worth marrying, then we obviously haven't spent enough time as their friends. And the girls I dated at Franciscan, all of them started with, you see, simple friendships that gradually evolved into relationships. And by keeping it not initially romantic, I think it helped us to make a better assessment of, is this gonna be a good relationship choice? And during that time, you start to love her as a sister. And what John Paul II said is this: when a man and a woman are united in true love, each one takes on the destiny, the future of the other as his or her own. And I think this season of friendship kind of begins to solidify this. He said, the greater the feeling of responsibility you have for your beloved, the more real love there is. And I think this attitude in a relationship is solidified by that season of friendship. And so right now, instead of running around looking for your future spouse, Curtis Martin once said, look, don't run after who you think is your future spouse. Run after God with everything you have. And then after a while of running, look and see who's keeping up with you. And those are the ones that you should begin to discern with. And so that's step one, is just begin with
¿Qué te
that.
pareció? Está padre, ¿verdad? ¿Te das cuenta qué capacidad tiene este hombre de hacer reír a las personas? Es muy divertido. Y dice muchísimas cosas. Por eso quise fraccionarlo para sacarle más jugo. Al principio recuerda a sus abuelos, ¿te acuerdas? Que habla de cómo vivieron juntos tantos años y incluso cuando eran mayores, su abuelo José coqueteaba con su abuela y le decía cosas bonitas. Incluso cuando cerró el féretro, que le dice, bye, baby, adiós. Y él dice, un amor fuerte, no solo que llega hasta la muerte, sino más fuerte que la muerte. Eso es todo lo que todos queremos realmente. No sé si tú lo quieras. Si tú no quieres eso, pues deja de ver este curso, pues porque aquí vamos a hablar de ese amor. ¿Cómo hacer para conseguir un amor así de fuerte, que sea más fuerte que la muerte? Eso ya no pasa, Jason. Eso era de nuestros abuelos. Tú piensa en las familias de tus abuelos, de tus bisabuelos, que tenían muchos hijos y que vivían felices hasta la muerte. Y ahora vemos que hay crisis. Mest, decía mest, a mes, una palabra nueva. Bueno, hay que ir aprendiendo palabras nuevas. Un lío, está hecho todo un lío. Divorcios, embarazos y otros tantos desórdenes que mencionaba Jason. ¿Es posible un amor de verdad? Sí es posible. Si ellos pudieron, nosotros también podemos. Con la ayuda de Dios y aprendiendo, por eso estamos dedicando tiempo a pensar, estamos dedicando tiempo a reflexionar. Porque la castidad es una virtud positiva. Hablábamos de un ejemplo arqueológico negativo, ¿te acuerdas? Efectivamente es el cinturón de castidad, que sería interesante entender que quizá muchas veces eso era una medida extrema, porque no toda la gente ha visto negativamente la castidad en la historia de la humanidad, aunque ciertamente ha habido momentos de represión quizá o de entenderla negativamente, pero es algo positivo. La castidad nos lleva a amar. La castidad nos lleva a amar. Y queremos realmente tener esta virtud y le pedimos a Dios que nos ayude a tenerla. ¿Por qué querían entrevistarlos en la BBC? Pues porque era un programa, ¿te acuerdas? Que se dedicaba a buscar casos extraños, gente extraña, vampiros, gente que pensaba que tenían animales dentro de sí. Y estos eran personas que habían vivido la castidad en su noviazgo, no habían tenido relaciones durante su noviazgo y eso era extrañísimo. Estas personas rarísimas, hay que entrevistarlas. ¿Te acuerdas aquel otro ejemplo que pone al principio de esa persona que escribió un pequeño libro, un pequeño cuaderno de notas, donde iba comentando lo que es la historia de su amor y cómo pone, yo cuando te vi, quise morir. Y después, un poco más adelante explica, quise morir a mí mismo para afirmarte a ti. Y el amor, efectivamente, el amor verdadero lleva esa dimensión de entrega, de sacrificio. Una persona que ama es feliz sacrificándose. Se sacrifica con gusto. Dime qué quieres que haga, dime cómo te puedo hacer feliz y yo voy a esforzarme. Y en el noviazgo es muy importante eso. Cuando no estamos dispuestos a sacrificarnos, a ceder por el otro, pues no hay auténtico amor. Lo que hay es egoísmo. Lo que hay es egoísmo. ¿Qué probaba el artículo de The Economist? Pues que es mejor la castidad, que la castidad hace que el matrimonio sea más feliz, más pleno en todos los sentidos. ¿Qué primer consejo da? La amistad. No ir quemando etapas, no acelerarse. Este curso está diseñado para gente de high school, que seguramente algunos de middle lo verán. ¿Y qué pasa en middle? Pues empiezan las reus y queremos ir con niñas y queremos tener novia y tranquilos. No hay que correr, hay que buscar la amistad. Y para eso cita este libro de El Cantar de los Cantares, que es un libro bien bonito libro sapiensal del Antiguo Testamento. Te voy a poner la cita aquí en la pantalla, pero todavía no domino la tecnología. Ya llegaremos a poder tomar esos recursos. En el capítulo 4 del Cantar de los Cantares se habla, aquí está la Biblia, yo te recomiendo que la leas. Hay un libro que se llama La Biblia en un año. Pues no sabemos cuánto vamos a estar en esta cuarentena, esperemos que no tanto, pero puedes empezar con ese proyecto. La venden en Beyala y cada día tiene, esta es la Biblia normal. Lee la Biblia, basta. Cita el libro del Cantar de los Cantares, donde dice, amiga mía, esposa mía. Primero se dirige a su amada como su amiga. Y es muy importante aprender a tener amigos, El noviazgo es no para disfrutar de la corporalidad de la otra persona, no para entregarse corporalmente, eso es para el matrimonio. En el noviazgo se trata de conocer a la otra persona, porque en el noviazgo, ese noviazgo, los noviazgos siempre es un estado temporal. El noviazgo termina porque cortan, o lo cortan, o la cortan, o por mutuo acuerdo deciden no seguir, o porque se casan. Termina el noviazgo porque se casan. Pues en el noviazgo se trata de conocer a la otra persona. Conocer si con esa persona me puedo casar, si con esa persona voy a ser feliz, si con esa persona me complemento. Físicamente hay complemento. No hay que buscar si somos complementarios físicamente, porque eso todo hombre con toda mujer se complementan. Hay que buscar si nos complementamos espiritualmente, como amigos, si tenemos los mismos valores. Dice una frase muy interesante, Jason, dice, ¿esta persona tolera mis valores o los comparte? Esta persona, ¿cómo trata, este chavo, cómo trata a su mamá, cómo trata a las niñas que no son bonitas? ¿Qué dice su ex de él? O también el niño tiene que preguntarse, ¿por qué me atrae esta niña? Es guapísima, tiene un cuerpazo, pero también tiene virtudes. ¿Qué virtudes tiene? ¿Cómo me relacionaría con ella? ¿Cómo estaría en la casa? ¿Cómo educaría a los niños? Ay, qué machista, padre, ¿cómo dice esas cosas? Las mujeres son las mejores educadoras que hay. La otra vez escuché un buen argumento que decía, las mujeres hacen mejor que los hombres todo. Cualquier cosa que hagan, la hacen mejor que los hombres. Cualquier cosa. Quizá menos las cosas de fuerza bruta, porque tienen más fuerza de voluntad. Por eso a las mujeres se les encarga lo más valioso que tenemos, que son los niños, que es la familia, que es que haya esa ternura, que haya ese envoltorio donde es el hogar. Uno llega al hogar y tiene que haber ese toque femenino. En la fábrica, en la oficina, en las calles, pues a lo mejor no hace falta ese toque femenino, estaría muy bien que lo hubiera, pero las mujeres son las que ponen lo más valioso es lo que les entregamos, que lo cuiden muy bien. Bueno, entonces la amistad, el noviazgo se trata de hacernos amigos y para eso hace falta tener muchos amigos, muchas amigas y dentro de esas amigas pues saldrá la novia adecuada. Después, un poquito para atrás, échate un pasito para atrás, daba ese ejemplo, así como para que te levante un papalote, un ala delta, alguna de estas cosas que funcionan con el aire, que echas un poco para atrás, para ver si realmente hay ese empuje, no ir hasta adelante, sino hacia atrás. Y daba un ejemplo muy bonito, al final, al terminar este primer consejo, decía, no corras detrás de la niña con la que te quieres casar, no corras detrás del niño sino corre detrás de Dios. Y después de correr un rato, mira quién está a tu alrededor. Y ahí escoge con quién te quieres casar. Bueno, pues hasta aquí este primer trozo de esta conferencia magnífica. Continuaremos. Chao.